guys, so my job right now is going to be sanding the deck. Sam's going to be up front dremeling, so I'm going to start back here and let's see how it goes. All right, let's rock this thing.
So this is the plan for the rest of the day, probably into tomorrow. I'm taking this little Dremel tool, V'ing out all these little gel coat spider cracks, and then we're gonna fill them up with some epoxy or some sort of, what is it called? It's called a structural repair putty or something like that, and hopefully they don't come back. So the fiberglassing is all pretty much new, so we've done a little bit of research and this is pretty much what it says to do. It says to V it out, put in some structural repair putty, repaint it. So here we go.
Sanding, sanding, and more sanding, and more sanding.
What's up?
It's quite the motion you got.
Just warming up, just practicing.
Just practicing. How you feeling?
Like I never want to see a piece of sandpaper ever again.
We're not even halfway through.
Yeah, I know. No, I don't want to see paper ever again.
It'll be nice to have it done, won't it?
Hope so. It better be worth it.
Hopefully,
it better be pretty when we're done.
Hopefully we haven't done anything wrong.
I'm not doing this again.
No, I'm glad we're doing it at home and not out on the water.
Yeah, me too. But
I can't imagine trying to do this and move around.
But this pretty much blows, by the way. This is terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
There's nothing good about this.
I agree. So we've just spent the rest of today sanding and more sanding. And even though we're not completely done with the sanding, it's about time for me to clean up. We've got a bunch of sand everywhere. Take a look at this. And this is all inside. This isn't even where we're working. So I think while Sam is up front trying out some of our patching material, I think I'm going to clean up inside. You know, when you're working, you just kind of keep putting stuff here and there and everywhere, and then you end up with a disaster. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Oh, such a mess.
I know I said earlier that I really hate sanding and I never want to see another piece of sandpaper again in my life. But tonight it's not that bad. Like, I actually might be beginning to enjoy this a little bit. So here's the deal. Oh man, crap, shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. Crap, I'll clean my face off in a minute. So the rough work with the orbital sanders and stuff and like 60 grit paper taking down the non-skid, that was miserable. I hated everything about that. But you know, once I got down to the 220 and I'm just hand sanding with a block of paper, it's actually quite peaceful. You just kind of zone out and you're just focused on your one task at hand. It's
actually really kind of relaxing. Just shaping the corners and making things, you know, the little finer detail work, that I like. It's like 7:30 at night. Had a pretty rough day at work. I am a carpenter. Set a bunch of trusses by hand today, and it was, you know, I'm pretty tired. But I came out here, I turned on my music. I live next to this little creek. It's not a babbling brook, so it actually is moving pretty good. But it's not that big. Maybe you guys can see it. No, let me see. See it out there? Hopefully you can hear it out there. It's really peaceful. The sun's going down. You know, I got another, I don't know, 45 minutes of daylight. This is my favorite time of the day. It's just birds are chirping. I'm just out here. I actually had to turn my music off. I was just sitting there sanding, you know, with hand. I could hear it going, the noise it makes when you're sanding. It was, you know, I'm a pretty lucky guy to be out here in my yard sanding on my sailboat.
What did we do? What did we do? I did about 20 minutes of sanding after work today, but I come home, we are done sanding. At least the initial. Yeah, super excited about it. Going to scrub it down tomorrow, blow it out with the air compressor, and use some degreaser, cleaned up really nice. Just make sure we got all of the spots that we need to got. And it didn't take us as long as we thought it would. It was hard and it was rough and it sucked, but here we are. It's nice to have a portion of it completed. So we're gonna clean up and go enjoy the rest of the evening. Have a good night.
Right now, we gotta hurry and run to the store and grab some plastic or a tarp, something, so we can cover this boat up. We have, I don't know, like 400 holes in it, and we would prefer it not to rain on the inside. So we're out of here. That is hail. Middle of June, Samac, Utah. We're supposed to be working on our boat this weekend, but no, this is what we get instead. It's rained for 2 days, snowed this morning, and now it's hailing. Freaking awesome. In our true fashion, our first attempt didn't do what we thought. Our quarter failed us. It didn't work out. So we had to run back in the house, grab the proper tools. We got our tape, 1-inch tape. We got our razor blade and a putty knife. And we got a very special tool we found. What is this thing? It is a 10 colones from Costa Rica coin. This is the perfect coin for what we're doing. It's a little bit bigger than a quarter. So this is the plan. All right, let me tape off. So we're gonna do this straight as we can get it. And then we're gonna take our 10 colones, line it up, take our knife, trim, and have a round quarter. What are you doing?
Pulling up tape.
Yeah, what does that mean?
We're done. We're done. It worked. Pretty much, anyway.
We're hoping.
We're hoping. But the second coat, so we went through and on our first coat of sealer paint, we went through and hand sprinkled in all of our little spots that weren't covered real well. Just hand sprinkled the soft sand. And then we came back a couple hours later to do our last coat of paint. Painted everything really heavy, and now we're pulling off the tape, and it actually looks really nice. So I'm excited to see the finished project. Didn't we?
Yeah, 100% done.
Yeah.
And it actually turned out okay.
Cabin top in video looks brand new. Actually, it looks really nice. We'll explain everything we did here in a little bit. Well, that was really good, but we don't have an ending. After all those hours of sanding and sanding and sanding, did you ever think we'd be here looking back at that video going,
No.
we're actually here.
No.
We actually made it, actually on the water. But you forgot an ending.
Yeah, that's right. Because the sanding was never going to end.
No, it wasn't.
Ever. We spent months sanding and painting this boat.
There were definitely
It took forever.
There were definitely times that we thought, oh, we knew this was going to be a big project, but it won't end.
Never ended.
Because you can't half-ass it. You have to do it all.
Right.
Once you get so far, you can't screw it up. So you have to keep fixing all your little mistakes and taking that time going in between every different level of sanding paper.
It was terrible. There were a few moments that weren't bad, but overall it was terrible. And some of the cracks came back. So some of that work was for nothing.
Right.
Which
we probably knew that, but
it does look a lot better. And
tried.
the non-skid is definitely non-skiddy.
Exactly. So that was worth it to have functional non-skid.
And we've had lots of compliments on the boat on how good it looks, even though I can see some runs, some holidays, and some flaws. But overall, it turned out really well.
I think people like that bright white.
Yeah, I think they just like that it looks clean.
It's not their eyeballs getting burnt by the sun. Thanks for watching. If you liked us, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Also, subscribe and find us over at Patreon if you'd like.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
See you later.